Okay, so some of you will want to do a base, and you can do it square or round. It doesn't really make a difference for me. If you do it round, I would use the disc to start. And why? Because if you use the what's it called, cylinder, you have all these triangles that are kind of hard to work with. So instead, if you use your disk is up here, polygonal disk, or if you go to create, if you don't see it there, polygon primitives disk is the very last one of the first basic shapes. If you use a disk and enlarge it, we can extrude this. Oops, I always hit the Windows button instead of Control. You have a disk without all those triangles on the middle, which are pretty hard to work with. So now if we want to subdivide it, we can just put our holding edges. You know what? It's like usually nice to have a clean base that's not affected by any sculpting or modeling. So I'm just gonna duplicate it. You know what? Let me turn on Karnak also so you can see what I'm doing. Is it on? Yeah. So now I have a little disk and another little disk, and I'm actually going to delete the base of this one. Because I don't technically need any of this stuff at the bottom. I'm not gonna see it, so I'm just gonna delete this. Yeah, and I'm just going to bring this down. Maybe make it smaller. So just so I have a clean, it's kind of nice to have a clean base, and then your sculpt inside. So now that I have this, I can subdivide this with smooth. So you can either go here, smooth on the top, or you can go mesh, mesh smooth. That's the same thing, and add divisions to this. See if I do 4. Computers can explode here. Alright, so now I have something nice that I can, work with and sculpt. Let me turn off symmetry because it's such a small object. Oh, there's no strength to it. Yeah. So now I can sculpt on this. If I want to, I can make my object paintable also, if I want to use if I want to use the paint effects to add grass or rocks or buildings or whatever there might be in there. Let's see. Make paintable, and then get a brush, generate. Get brush, there it is. Grasses. Whoa, that's huge. Let's see how big does this. This is so hard to gauge. Still huge. I'm just holding B and making the brush bigger or smaller. Still too big. Oh, this thing needs to be super small. That's more like it. Well, no, it's too small now. Wow, so sensitive. Okay, that's more like it. Maybe if your character's on the jungle. Remember, paint effects, you always have to convert to polygons so they render. So you go to modify, convert paint effects to polygons, and now they will render when you render your object. It'll render with it. If it's not converted to an object, it will not be visible on your render. So, wow, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't look anything like my... I guess I didn't select everything. There's the grass. Modify, convert paint effects to polygons. I'm saying I'm not selecting anything. Well, and this is the problem with paint effects. It's kind of tricky with Arnold. Okay, let me stop the preview so I can actually do something. It's like the leaves didn't render. So let's delete this. It only rendered the sticks for some reason. So let me try this again. Select modify, convert paint effect to render to polygons. Something's happening with the strokes. Some of the strokes don't work. Console auto color to consider surface shadow E force element console. So this you will have to try, and that's why sometimes it's better to just do your own object and paint with your own object. So let's see if it's rendering this time. Everything should be selected and converted. No, it's just the sticks. Oh well. So yeah, you have to watch out for paint effects. So if you do decide to do your own things and you want to paint your own things with your own things, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I show you can make your own object and paint with your own object. Let's say you make your own rock, and you want to paint with your own rock, you know. So let me hide this for a second. Let's say I just make my own rock here. Now let's make a square. Oh, the other thing is for modeling, you can turn on the create menu. Usually by default, when you hit something, it shows up on the middle of the grid. So everything's on the middle. You can turn on interactive creation. So when you're modeling, I don't know, let's say you want to quickly block a scene. If you were mocking a big scene, you can go to the create menu, and at the bottom of, let's say, polygon primitives, you will see interactive creation. So if you turn that on, whoops, I kind of jumped out of the menu. Okay, so polygon primitives, interactive creation, and let's turn it on. Yeah. So with interactive creation, what it does, it lets you just click and drag where you want an object. So it'll show you a plus sign. So if you're mocking up a city, let's say a city street, you can quickly, say, okay, there's going to be a building here. There's going to be another building here. Oops. You just have to create the object you want to make every time. And it makes things a little bit easier to position if you're putting things on the grid, I guess. If you're not putting things in the grid, it's kind of annoying. You'll have to do it the regular way and just move things around. But anyway, let's say you want to paint with an object you created. The only thing you have to do is and let me turn that off, that interactive creation, so it just shows up in the middle. Okay, so let's say this is the object I'm going to paint with. So the one thing you have to do is kind of like when you prepare an object for a game engine. It's the same process basically. You have to you know what, let me just modify it a little bit so it kind of looks a little more like a rock or something. So I'm going to just change it a little bit here. Oh yeah, I can't cut through this anymore. Oh, come on. Well, let me cut the other way now. Let's see. Okay, so let's say I made a rock and I want to paint my ground with it. And I want Maya to put variations on it, kind of rotate the rock around and change the scale for me, kind of like Paint Effects does. Not have to do it by hand. You can have Maya do that. The only conditions you have to keep is that it has to have its transformations frozen. It has to be sitting on the grid, so it's not like right now this rock would be like halfway out the grid and halfway into the grid. If you had a building, you would not want to do that. Well, unless you want some of the foundation into the grid, so you have to clean it just like if you were cleaning an object for a game engine or preparing it for animation. So okay, so I'm fooling around too much, I guess, in here. We're just gonna keep it simple. Okay, so let's say this is my rock. Now, how do I get it ready for painting with it? I'm going to move it up into the, and I know there's a bunch of triangles on it. It doesn't really matter because it's not going to be animated. It's not a character. It's just going to be sitting there. So the first thing I got to do is put it on top of the grid, so I can go on the side view. For some reason, my spacebar shortcut doesn't work anymore. I'm going to go on the side view and set it right on the grid. Maybe move this points around a bit, so it looks more like a stone. And then I'm going to go to my channel box and make sure my object has transformations frozen, so it doesn't remember that is scale or moved. So I'm going to click on the button to freeze transformations, and then I didn't do it. Why didn't I do it? Oh, I deleted the history. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wanted freeze transformations. So that's the snowflake looking thing with the zeros on it. There we go. So now that's the default position and the default scale. Now you have to have your object be selected. So let me name this so I can find that easy. Pebble or whatever. I think Pebble has 2 L's, 2 B's. I can't remember. Anyway, so there it is. Now I'm going to show my ground here. And this ground is way too lumpy to be dirt. Hang on, I just need to smooth it out a little bit. It looks like I don't know, it doesn't look like dirt. It looks something like something different. So you just have to have your object selected, and you go to, is it create? No, it's under modify, I think. Modify, yeah, there it is. So you go to Paint Script Tools. So you don't go to the Generate menu and select Make Paintable or anything like that, because, and you don't get a brush from here either. You do it from Modify because this is your own object that you made. It's not something that's Maya is scripted for you to use. So you say Paint Script Tool and open the option box. And generally it's not going to say this. It's going to open this window. If you haven't done it before, it's going to open this window. And on the bottom here, this will be blank. So what you'll have to do is type in here Geometry Paint. Meaning, I don't want to paint with Maya's crappy, buggy brushes. I want to paint with my geometry. So you just type in here Geometry Paint, and you put capital on Paint. This is a common way of writing code. You know, the first letter is not cap, but the second one is. They call it camel typing. So because there's the hump in the middle. So you just type Geometry Paint. This window will show up, and in here, all you have to do is put the name of your geometry. So I know I named my pebble, which I probably misspelled. Oops. Oh, dang it. So I need to write that in here. What the heck is that? Oh. Sorry, it's one of my kids' toys. It's totally freaked me out here. Okay, so I'm going to write. Hang on, let me see. Sorry, guys. Sorry, one of my kids left one of their toys here. It totally freaked me out. Sometimes I'm working here at night and they have these little dogs that talk and stuff, and they have a really creepy voice. They kind of take me by surprise. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna paint with pebble, and you can put more than one object here. I don't know. You have to type it exactly. You know how picky coding is. If you ever done any coding, Just say pebble and hit enter. Then here are the controls. You can have it scale. So you can say scale on the X and Y and Z, or just one of them. Like if it was building, you can have it scale only on the Y and it'll change the scale. You can have it create or modify. So if you've created it already, you can change it to just modify, and it'll only change the scale. You can have it remove. You can have it paint on the grid, and this says how many copies of the object are. So let's see. Let's see what it does. Oh, let me make my brush bigger. Whoa, that's the sorry, that's the problem with the brushes, are so sensitive. I just wasn't seeing it. Oh, still too big. Maybe I'm gonna turn off the scale. And maybe just do the rotation. Why is it so big? It's huge. Now it's so small I can't see it. So I want it one. This is crazy. Wait a second. Might have to do with the scale of this. Okay, so that's scaled. So I gotta freeze it too. Freeze. Go back to this. Ah, there we go. The problem was I had my my object. I hadn't frozen the transformations. Since this object was scaled 69 units, it was scaling my pebble 69 units. So now I can paint with my object, and this can be pretty cool. I wish I could do the scale too. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I do the scale. Okay, yeah, that's more like it. Okay, so it's not making huge things. So yeah, it's just like preparing something for a game. You have to remember to freeze the transformations. Freeze the transformations. Have your object on the base of the come on guys, help me here, it's too early. On the grid, sitting on the grid. So the one thing I forgot was to reset that pivot point. So what am I talking about is so let me hide all this stuff. When you create an object, it shows up on the middle of the grid like this, right? We don't want that. So I told you you should put it on the base here. Put the base of the object sitting on the grid, and freeze transformations. But the other thing you want is, and this is particularly for gaming. I guess for that rock it doesn't matter too much because we do want it a little bit sticking into the ground. So it's not just floating, when it's balancing on one of the rotations. Because Maya will rotate. Because I selected on paint with geometry, I selected to rotate the object. It might be sitting on one weird corner, and it won't look normal. So it's okay. That's a little bit into the ground. But if you wanted it to sit perfectly on the surface without rotation, you would reset this pivot point. Instead of being on the middle of the object, you would reset it to the bottom. So if you go to modify, you can say, where is it? Reset transformation. And what this does, it puts the pivot point of the object on the middle of the grid. Even if your object is, let's say you want to send this object to a game. and you're building your level, you know, you have your level built, and this is a box or a crate or a building that's sitting on this side. You don't want your object to move to the center, or to you know, to change position when you export your level. So you freeze transformations, and you also reset the pivot point. So let's see, modify, reset transformations. So now the pivot point of the object is over here, all the way at 0. So when you send it to the game engine, this crate will show up on the same place you had it on your model, on your 3D model. Okay, I hope that's not confusing, but so let's go back to our base. What did I do with it? Oh, I hid it. Okay, so mesh display, show last hidden. Okay, so there's my rock, and this is the problem you get. You know, the first rock I made still hiding in here, so you can just hide it if you don't, after you're done, or delete it, I guess, after you're done. What happens if I delete it? Since I'm not gonna paint anymore with it, I guess nothing happens. But see in here, these rocks are kind of sitting on one weird corner. You know, it's kind of strange a little bit, because rocks don't balance like that. So you have to decide. You know, do I want it half into the ground, or do I just want it sitting on the top? But now that I have this ground, you know, I could do a PBR texture on it. So yeah, let's get one. So I'm going to do a PBR texture here from textures.com. To remind you how it's done, you know, I know you need to see things a few times to start remembering how to do it. And 3D, you have to do it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times to remember how to do it. You know, they say a genius needs to see something 5 times to remember it. And I think you guys, the newer generations, I don't understand how you guys do it, but sometimes you see me doing something once on the computer and you can do it right away, which is pretty amazing to me. But so I'm just going to find some dirt looking PBR here. Hopefully they have something free. If they don't, I'll just steal. So there's a sandy rock here. Is that the only one? Yeah, let's just take the parts out of it. So since it's not free, yeah, let's just take this one. So I'm gonna take the parts of it. Oh, I already took it down some other day, because it says I already purchased it, the free version. So you gotta have it somewhere. So let me look at my textures. My folder with textures. Probably on PBR. Sorry, you had to wait on this. Wood, fabric, new folder. I gotta keep things more orderly. Dang it. I'm just gonna make a folder here. Re-download it. New folder. Sandy Road. Okay, so just like you would have to do it. I'm just gonna do it here. So I'm going to click on the free versions, and this WebEx window is always on my way. I'm gonna say save. So that's my color. Come on, save. Textures. PBR. There it is. Save. I'm gonna save the height map, which remember you can use it either as a bump or as a displacement map. So we'll try the displacement map so it looks more So it looks beefier, I guess. We'll say save. So I'll show you both ways to do it, putting it together by hand, or if you find a free PBR somewhere, I'll show you how to do that again. I don't know why my computer's saving so slow. Probably because I'm recording and WebEx casting, I guess. Okay, so almost done, you guys. Just one more. The ambient occlusion, you don't really use much in Maya. You would use it on a game engine to darken the shadow part, just to give it more realism. In Maya, you would just use these 4 maps, basically. You might have a metal map also, if it was something shiny, a metalness. But anyway, I'm gonna go to Maya here and apply those. So I have my object selected. I'm gonna say assign new material. I'm gonna pick an Arnold, a standard surface. There it is. On the color, I'm going to, whoops, let me delete the history of this thing. On the color, I'm gonna apply the albedo. So file, where's that file? On my computer. On the textures folder, PBR, where is it? PBR, Sandy Rock, albedo, there it is. And if you don't know which one it is, you can just click, and one time, if you click one time, it'll show you a preview on the side. So that's the one. Say open, and I'm gonna turn on textures here. So there's the color. And I lost my material now. There we go. What else do we have? You know what? I'm gonna put on geometry. I am gonna put the normal map so you guys can see it. So the way to put the normal map, you go to bump mapping or geometry. I'm sorry. On the material, you go geometry, bump mapping, and then in here you put that file. Say file, and it shows you this is the value of your bump. If you guys don't remember, like this window, the first window is the value of the bump, and in here under bump depth it says use as a bump or use as a normal. So if you're using a normal map, you just change this to either tangent space normals or object space normals. You have to try which one works best. Usually object space normals work best. I'm gonna try tangent just to see what happens. I'm gonna put the bump value, which should be my picture, and it should be the height map. So there's my black and white height map. I'm gonna open it, and it looks totally messed up. So let me select the object, go back to geometry, bump mapping, and if I click on the arrow here, it should take me to the, where is my bump value? It's right here on the arrow. Let's see. There. So this is your inputs and outputs connected to that file. So inputs and outputs. So if you select the file, what's inputting here, and let's turn on our light again, and our preview. And hopefully Maya can handle this, or my computer, I mean. Open Arnold Render Viewer. Why is this window so huge? Okay, so we're gonna hit play and cross my fingers. Okay, so oh, I also have, you see this stuff, this black stuff is the reflections. My map is trying to reflect things. I never turn off the specular on my map, and there's not really any specularity on sand, or there is some, but you would bring a map with it. So it's still showing black for some reason. Maybe my value is too high. So let me bring it down a bit. 2.0 something. Or maybe it doesn't like tangent space normal, so I'm gonna change it to object space normal. Oh, that's what it was. It was object space normal. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes tangent space normals work, but usually it works better with object space normals. So let's see, that's as much as the bump map can give you. You would obviously texture this rock that I made, that I painted with. It would not look like pieces of gray styrofoam before painting with it, you know. Well, we're just gonna leave it like that. Now we have our bump map there, or a normal map, I should say. The blue map. I don't think I've shown you ever using the normal map. It's always been the black and white map. So if you don't remember what the normal map looks like, it is that blue map. You know, that blue and orange. This guy. Oh, and I didn't use that one, did I? That's why it's not working with the tangent space normal. Did you guys see me use the... Yeah, I used the height map. I totally messed up here. So, okay, so I'm gonna use the normal map now. Maybe that's why it wasn't working. Because it was...
So that height map, that would be the displacement.
Yeah, it could be the displacement or just a regular bump map. So, if you know, games usually use normal maps, which is like the second generation of a bump map. So I know I just confused you guys. So bump map is just black and white. So that's been used for years, since whenever games started using bump maps. So it's just black and white. So you could use the black and white map, the same height map, for a bump map. But you will see a lot of games nowadays are used with normal maps, which is that blue color map, blue and orange. I don't know what, pink I think it has on it. So a lot of games use normal maps now because they cast shadows a little bit better than the bump map. But they work the same. They don't distort the surface. They just fake the shadows of the bumpiness. I hope. Is that clear? Aaron, did I confuse you more?
No.
No.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So if you want to use a bump map, you use the black and white height map. If you want to use a normal map, you change this setting here to normal map. And we'll see what happens now with tangent space normal. Let me see what happens. So now we can actually see it here. But see, it fakes shadows a little bit better than the bump map. Let's see what happens when we render, how it looks on the render. Oh wow, yeah, that's a big difference. That's a big difference. So yeah, so see, it looks awesome here, and this is what a game would do. Just use a normal map. It looks really awesome here, but if you pay attention on the edges, there's no distortion of points. It's just light being faked, faking shadows of bumpiness. So let me see what happens if we change it to so bump map, and we need the value. What happens if we change it to object space normal? Yeah, it doesn't work. I guess it likes tangents. Tangents displays normal. Okay, so there it is. Let me lower the value a bit. Okay, we'll say that's good. So now, a normal map will take you quite far on your texture. Um, oh man, I'm a pig. This is reminding me of a Chips Ahoy cookie, and I want to eat a cookie now. I just need to make my rocks chocolate color, and it'll be perfect cookie. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to use the displacement map so we can see the displacement of the ground. So to get the displacement map, we can go to the base texture. You can get it from the Hypershade, you know, if you open the Hypershade. And this stuff is getting too confusing. You can select your material, which I never named. I'm gonna name it Chips Ahoy Cookie. Okay, so now I can find it in here. There it is, my delicious material. So I'm going to right click and say Graph Network. Okay, so there's what I have hooked up on it. Your displacement map will be in here on this node. You know, usually this is your main node for the material where you hook up everything. You can find it in here, or I think if you want to see it from this window, if you don't want to open the Hypershade, I think it's on either outputs for the material. Yeah, on outputs for the material. So it gives you the same node. This same thing is over here. So you don't need to open the Hypershade. And then I'm going to open displacement material. Go to file. It's showing this window, which is not the right one. But usually where there should be a checker box, there's an arrow here, a black arrow. You say, okay, this is where the file should be. So I'm going to find my height map in here. There it is. Bring it over. And it's still not doing anything. If you remember, the height map, it actually displaces points. So it simulates a grid on your object and it displaces points. So that's managed through the object itself, not through the material. So I have to select my object. And on the second tab, the one that says shape, in here there is an Arnold section, and here's where you control the displacement. So if you scroll down a little bit on the Arnold section, you'll see subdivisions, displacement, and volume attributes. So to remind you, the type of subdivisions you want is Cat Clark. I don't know who Clark is, but Catmull is one of the founders of Pixar. So you remember who wants to subdivide my cookie? Ed Catmull. So then you had to tell it how many times to subdivide that mesh. I don't think you'll need much since I have so many points in there. I went crazy with the subdivisions. So I'm gonna say 3. And actually that might be even too much. So if you want to see how subdividing it on the preview window, you can go render, debug shading, whoops, wireframe, and turn on wireframe. Whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot. So let me just subdivide it once. It doesn't need that much. That's for certain. It's probably because I subdivided it so much so I could sculpt on it. So your surface might have a lot less polygons than mine. I'm just being wasteful here with my geometry. So I think this is plenty. Now the displacement here, it says the value of the displacement. So and bounce padding, to save on memory, I think Maya puts a limit to what is going to be displaced. So you usually want to have some kind of value here. We'll start small, 0.5. And then my height. Since this is a big object, I think the height's too small, so I'm gonna try something. Oh, can I only go to 1? What the heck? There we go. Okay, so now I'm starting to see the rocks. So it's actually moving points around. Let me get out of the debug shader here. So now I'm actually seeing Maya displace the rocks, and it looks like it's going backwards. What in the world? Is it because of my normal map? That's very odd. I've never seen this. Can I put -2 in here? Still going backwards. Somebody stole my cookie. My chocolate chips from my cookie. That's very weird.
When I did the one assignment that we did last semester or whatever, I had to invert a bunch of my displacement maps.
Did you?
I got offline. So I had the same thing happen.
Huh. Yeah, and it's working great, but it's doing it backwards. What in the world? Let me see if I turn off the normal map and see what happens. Okay, so let me just break this connection here to the normal map. Oh, somehow it's fighting the normal map. That's very weird. See how it's working now? That's very odd. What happens? Let me just put it back, just to make sure. Just put back the normal map here. Normal, and it was set to tangent. What if I set it to object space normal? It might have something to do with the tangent or object. Because tangent is surface, and object, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Let's see what happens when I put it on. Yeah, so it's working now. That's really odd. Well, if you have problems with it, you can just take off the normal map, or the normal map, or the bump. The bump map should work just the same than the height map. If you use the black and white map, you know. But anyway, there's the displacement map. I don't like it. Again, it kind of got rid of a lot of the bumpiness though, like that the normal map was giving it. Let me play with the displacement here, because it already has a displacement of 5. I wonder if it has anything to do with the bounce padding. No. Auto bump. No. No, that's just messing it up. Huh. I guess it doesn't like having the normal map together with the displacement map. Yeah, because I don't see any difference, but it is moving points. Yes, it's literally moving points. You can see the rocks sticking out more. So I wonder if we could oops. If we could just put the regular black and white map in here instead, and see if it looks any better on the bump map. Height. It looks a tad better. Not as good as the normal map did, but oh, come on. Oh, I gotta set it to bump. It looks a little better. Still not as good as the normal map though. Which is too bad. I can see the sand now, but it's not as good. But anyway, this is how you you know, this is pretty tricky. You have to work with it. So let's add another object, and let's say you're lucky and find the PBR for free. So I'm not wasting your time here forever. So I'm going to put another object here. Let's say this is a piece of metal. Come on, Maya, catch up. No. There it is. Okay, so let's say this is a piece of metal on my base. It's like sticking out from the ground. And I was lucky enough to find a PBR. So to add a PBR material that's one of these paid ones. Did I close the window? Textures.com. No, here it is. So let's say I'm looking here through PBR materials and I find a free one that I can use. You would just download it like we did last time. You know, just download it, and it will say some weird name by it. I'll show you in here. But the way to use it in Maya, you would open the Hypershade, and I think you do have to open the Hypershade here. Doing it this way, and it's funny enough, it's under one of the Maya materials. Substance. So you say create a substance node, and here it is. Once you click on this, on the node here for substance node, you will see in here load substance. So you open your folder to find the substance. And okay, so I have a metal material here. I guess it's SBSAR, the format. So there's metal. You just open that. It's gonna download it here, and you have to go downstairs and say not downstairs. You have to go down the menu here and say create shader network. And the shader network, when you know, right now you just have a file in here or a node. You don't have a material yet. So this shader network is gonna create the material for you. So you hit on this, and you'll see a new AI standard material show up. So you name it here right away. You select it and name it metal, so it doesn't get lost, because the network that the PBR material does is huge. Like, oh, look at this! Look at this thing. It's huge. So as soon as you make it, make sure you name the material so you can find it. Once you have it, you can, you know, clear the network. So you just see that one material, graph network, and this is all the nodes it does. And I guess you could see in here where it's putting the normal map. So where's geometry here? Normal camera. So I guess it puts it as a bump value when it does it for you. It puts it as a bump value, but it does the blue map. I don't know. I'll have to look into this more. But you know, it's all done. You don't have to do anything with it. So now you just grab your material and it's done. And hopefully you have your UVs done, or you hide the seam really well. And now when you render, it should look perfect. There it is. So there it is. So I didn't have to do anything with it. So yeah, there's materials, you know, can make a huge difference on your base. You know, is you could put a wood material here on the bottom just to make it look fancy. I don't know. Give it some molding here, some bevels or something fancy. You know, so if you were to print it, it looks really awesome, you know. And it's a good presentation. But that's all I wanted to show you for today. You guys have any questions or running into any issues with your model?
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to be leaving town next week. How do you want me to turn that in?
Through Canvas? I mean, are you leaving and not going to be able to work? Is that what they're saying? So turn it beforehand, before Wednesday next time. So do as much as you can, you know, before you leave, and then just leave and just forget about me completely. That's what I want you to do. I want you to have fun on your vacation. So just work beforehand, and then you just forget. Hopefully not everything, so you can do it again, so you can model stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion. I mean, you can do it however you want. I never recommend you going. You know, sometimes people runs into things. They're getting married. They're going to a funeral. Something, and they say, I'll try to work in my vacation. That never works. Never works. And if you have to do it, it sucks, you know. You don't want to be doing homework while everybody's partying. So yeah, just do it before. Just take it as far as you can before, and just turn it in, and you'll be good.
Okay.
I won't fail you. Okay. And what? Sorry.
You said cool.
Okay. Aaron, did you say something? Did you have a question?
No, I don't think so. Just that one about the displacement.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, sometimes I don't know what's going on with it. I just try different things and see what happens. Just trying connecting things, changing settings, and see if it helps it. If it doesn't, you know, that's about it. Everybody else good? And you guys have any problems?
I had some issues with the rigging.
Okay.
Like I got the quick rig set up, like just the basic body. But when I like move her arms, it like messes up her hair really bad. And I tried to like add rigging for the hair, and that wasn't working out. And when I tried to fix what the arm was affecting, like I couldn't. I wasn't doing that right. I must have missed something. So.
Okay. So.
I just need a.
I'm not going to, you know, I'm just to let you know, I'm not going to make the pose mandatory, because this is a strictly sculpting modeling class. If you want to submit your model on a T-pose, that is fine. You know, as long as you have a texture and sculpt it, a T-pose will be fine. But I know for you, I show you that because I show you the quick rig because of you know, most students want to pose their character. But you do need to paint weights for the rig to work well. So I assume when you're moving the arm, some of the weights are still in the hair. So
yeah.
If you stick around, I can show you how to fix it. But
okay, cool.
If you're in this class now, you're not required to pose your character. You know, that happens on the animation and rigging class, where they teach you all the details about rigging, weight painting. You know, we don't have time to do all of that. So if you decide to do a T-pose for the rest of you that are not posing or want to pose, that is completely fine. So save your model on T-pose, and then if you want to experiment with with actually getting a pose in, save it with a different version name, you know, post, so you don't ruin your character, your T-pose. And then you'll learn all the details about animation and rigging on the other class. That is 2680. No, I can't remember what name it is, but there's a class specific to animation and rigging. So if you want me to help you with those weights, just stick around, Sarah, and I'll show you.
That would be great.
Okay, anybody, any other questions? No? Okay, so I'll let you keep working on your model. If you want to try posing it, great. If you realize it's just messing you up with all the weight painting and stuff, it's okay to submit it on a T-pose. Okay?
I might do a T-pose as well. It's distorting everything, even like the beard and stuff. I've tried different rigs, different skeletons in it, and just can't get it to go, so.
Okay. So maybe we should open Sarah's here and see what you have it open there on your screen. So let's
Yeah,
look
we
at
can do that.
let's look at it. Okay, so go into rigging on the top left menu where it says modeling. Yeah, change that to rigging. I think it's under where is it? Skin. Let's see. Go over the top menus. There it is. Paint skin weights and select the option box. Oh, and we have to have our model selected first, I guess. Sorry. Select the little girl there. So hit Q. Select the girl.
Ah,
And now, yeah, go again. Skin, paint, skin weights. There we go. Okay, so now you say when you move the arm. So there's the hip, and that's everything the hip is affecting. Okay, so you can hit Q. Hit Q again, and select the hip controller, the red square, yeah, and rotate it like forward, like if she was bending over, and then just undo.
Yeah.
So is that do it more, like push it to the extreme there. So that's working good, looks like. So undo. And so hit undo a couple times till straight. Okay, now you say the arms are affecting things you don't want.
Yeah, like if I move the arm at all, oops. Okay.
Okay, so when that's locked is on your sorry, see the little guy on the top right. It looks like a little guy in a T-pose by the attribute editor. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, click on that and let us see the window. Yeah, move the tool settings down, or yeah, click on that. It is set to full body, so I don't know why it's not letting you rotate. The shoulder just rotates; it doesn't move. So. It's not doing it. Change it to on the little guys here. There's like on that menu with on the top. See, there's go above a little bit, like out of that window. On the same window, but there's a little guy that's highlighted blue. Yeah, one of those. Say body part. Body part will move just the shoulder. So
okay.
Now you should be able to rotate the. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, so it's moving the hair, right? So,
Yeah.
So undo that movement, and let's zoom in the hair. So on the back, like show us the back of it. Yeah, there. Now on the left side of the screen, you still see the paint weights tool. It's still there. It's remembering the last tool you used, so you can click it from there. On the left side, on the left side of the screen. Yeah, there it is. So, we need to have the girl selected first, though. Sorry, so click on hair. Yeah, click on paint weights. Now in here, we'll look through the arm. So on the tool settings. So I see spine, neck. Okay, so there is a little bit higher there. Or what arm is that? That's the left arm. So yeah, I go left shoulder. Okay, see how whatever's white here will be affected by that bone. So see how the hair is white?
Yeah.
It has a little bit of white. So on the and you know, this is all the stuff that you're going to learn on the other class. So we want to turn our value to 0 on the brush. So if you look down, there's value. Turn it to 0. And on the top, we want to say, yeah, it's set to replace. So now paint on the hair. It should go, make your brush smaller.
How do I do that again? I always have trouble with it.
Put the yeah, there, hold it there and hold down B on your keyboard and drag.
Drag, okay, that's what they should.
There you go. So now you paint anything you don't want to move black, completely black. So now just for the sake of this, so we're not all waiting, you know, because this will take a while. So now hit Q again, select the joint and rotate it and see if it made a difference. And you'll see if there's things that you missed that they will move. So yeah, you select the joint, like the control, yeah, hit rotate and see if it's affecting the hair like before.
Yeah, it still is.
A little bit. So so you would go back to painting. I think our brush was not full strength also.
Okay.
So yeah, you select the girl, select the paint weights, and see you miss a spot there on the ribbon thing. Okay, opacity is 1%. Yeah, you just had to paint that all that stuff black, and then it won't be affected by that bone at all. So and if you made bones that are in the hair, you know, you would do the opposite. You would paint them white.
Okay, yeah, and that was my other thing is I was trying to add bones in the hair and like I don't think I was doing it right.
It wouldn't let you add bones.
Like I added points, but they weren't connected with bones, and they looked different.
So they should look blue. So these yellow bones of the quick rig you see, they're not actually the bones. They're like a control of some kind. It's something that Maya's made for it to work.
Yeah, I didn't even have that either. Like I tried to make the bones visible, and it looks like that, which is different than I remember.
Oh yeah, they look huge. That's your display. So if you go to on the top, I think it's display, the display menu. So go a little bit to the left. Yeah, display. Sorry. On the top here. Yeah.
The sharing thing.
No, you were on the right menu. It's on the very there. Display. Now go down. I think it's transform display or object display. It's one of those two. No, object display. Nope. Shoot, where is it? Animation maybe. Hang on. Let me find it on my on my window. Okay. I don't usually mess with this part of Maya much, so I have a hard time remembering. So. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's under display animation joint size. So it is where you were. It's just on the. Yeah, that will set it to a different size. So go lower. Yeah, that's usually why you see it. Your model is just really small. That's why the bones look so huge, you know.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then when I went to add joints, I went. Where did I go? Yeah, I just went to create joints, and I would like click where I wanted them.
Mhm.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, so go on the side view, so on the orthographic side view. So click on your orthographic views. Yeah, go in there. You click on the last bone. It'll probably be the head or the neck, I guess. Either. Just click on the head on the top.
This one?
Yeah, usually you
I
want.
still have the create joint selected.
That's fine. Just click on that
Okay.
one.
Right.
No, did you click on it? No, click on the
Mhm.
last sphere that you see there. So undo that. Yeah, click on that one sphere. There we go. Now click on the hair. What the heck?
That was different.
That's weird. Okay, undo. Undo again. Okay, it's fine. Undo that. Or is that yellow? Okay, so that's from the quick rig. Sorry, I'm seeing something else here. So now click on the hair, like if you were like that. We didn't have a body, and you're just putting bones on the hair. We can do it this other way. Yeah, keep clicking.
Okay.
Good. Now hit enter. Oh, or when you're done, I guess. And then
I'll just
okay.
hit enter.
Now go to the top, and you have the child selected. So hit Q and select the top bone, the very top bone, the head. Oops. No. Select your hair again. Yeah. Now hold shift and click on the top bone. Excuse me. On the top sphere there. Not on the controller, on the sphere. On the blue sphere. So deselect those guys. Yeah, it's the blue sphere. There you go. Now hit P. Ta-da.
Okay. Cool.
But you will have to paint weights on those bones.
Okay.
So you have to paint the weight for the hair. So it is kind of a lengthy process. It's not, I'm done, The weight painting it's kind of sucky. But, this is how you get it done.
What'd you say?
This is how you get it done, I guess.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and if you have problems posting it, don't suffer it. What we're worried about now is having a character that's sculpted and it looks neat, more than joints and posing.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. If not, I will see you guys on Monday, and you guys still want to finish Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Except for Ashley, that will be partying while we suffer here and work in our basements.
I don't know. Going out in 90-degree weather with major humidity does not sound fun to me.
Is there a beach close by at least that you can go swimming?
No, I'm in the middle of farmland.
Oh no. Well, hopefully there's fun things to do there.
I hope you have a seed.
All right, you guys. I will see you on Monday then. And with that,
See ya.
I will
See y'all.
see ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.